With Madrid recently losing 5-2 to Atletico Madrid, despite beating Bora FC in the Champions League 5-0, results recently, despite them winning, performances, results, whatever, I am convinced Madrid are probably going trophyless this year. I'll be honest. They have not been good. They will not be good this year. And this is why we need to discuss this in today's video, my dear friend.
And with that being said, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Basement Ballers. Today, we are going to be talking about Real Madrid, whether the start to their season is as bright lights and shining as some Madrid fans.
Fugazi. It's a mirage. It's like water in the desert. It's like Egypt. It's Fugazi. It's not real. It's like the Tooth Fairy.
Whether it's well, anyway, you know what I'm saying? Xabi Alonso ball and then man. So we're gonna talk about that. Brahim, I'm gonna let you lead the conversation to start off. Yeah.
All right, tell me. So now we're gonna go just based on results real quick. So Madrid, out of I believe that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Out of 9 games, they have won 8 of them. Which on paper you'd think, immaculate. Wow. Like really, honestly, prime Madrid. This is prime BBC Madrid. Pause. However, in those results, may I remind the viewers that most of their goals have been carried by Mbappe, which we're going to get onto later. 2 or 3 of those games they won with their opponents having red cards. The Sociedad game, for example, red card, even though Huijsen had actually pick up one after, to be fair. Lose the first real competition they played, Atletico Madrid, they got spanked. And if you want to include the Club World Cup as well, PSG lost 4-0 to them. So every big team Madrid have played against so far, they've been dog shit. Marseille, which is probably their other biggest game this year because it's probably the hardest opponent plus Champions League, whatever, needed 2 penalties. One of them being one of the most outrageously stupid penalties I've ever seen because...
They went down that game first, right?
They went down that game. And also, just like to talk about this real quick. So you saw, obviously, when Arsenal played Newcastle, right? Gabriel literally basketball, like Air Jordan the ball in the box, and then get called for a penalty, right? Yeah. But then the other guy with Marseille... literally, it barely grazes his arm, and his arm was in a natural position. Yeah, they call that as a penalty. So, Madrid have had some very fugazi things happen to them, refereeing-wise, in their favor, because it's Madrid. And every team they've played against has either not been good, or the decent ones they've either struggled with or lost to. And not just lost, spanked. Like, mind you, 9-2 aggregate score between their games against Atletico and PSG. 9-2, Karim. That is record breaking.
Yes, exactly. And I think that was something that a lot of non-Madrid fans were pointing out is wait until Real Madrid play a real opponent. Wait until Real Madrid play a real opponent. And they did.
Bro, just wait till the end of the month. Oh, that Clasico is going to be amazing.
Well. So, Brahim, with that being said, obviously after taking a look at the results, they've only lost 1 game. Again, you could say, well, they're in a decent league position. They're 1 point behind Barca, correct?
Yes.
But with that being said, Brahim, do you see any significant difference between Ancelotti ball and Xabi Alonso ball that the Madrid fans want you to fall in love with?
So one thing I've noticed, for sure, is Madrid presses really high up the field now. That is one thing I noticed. Like a lot of the games I've watched, and I'm pretty sure I've watched every game of them except their game yesterday in the Champions League. Well, by the time this video comes out. But anyways, they played, against Bora FC. I didn't watch that game. But every other game I've watched, the one thing I have noticed, yes, Madrid do press very high up the pitch now. They win possession back way further up in the pitch. I'm noticing Vinny and Mbappe they're pressing a lot more. They are doing there are certain little things that they're doing a bit better than under Ancelotti, don't get me wrong. However, overall, I feel like it's still very disjointed. I feel like a lot of their team there just seems to be something lacking. Now, whether it's because Bellingham's been injured for most of the season so far, I say most of the season, it's only been a month, but Bellingham's been injured, obviously. They've had some defender issues, like, the red cards, some injuries, blah, 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 blah. Carvajal and Trent are now out. But I think, yes, they are a bit better than last year. However, I don't think they have improved that much now. It's still very early, but I personally don't think you take a coach like Alonso. And I mentioned this in a video I did with Haji about a month ago, right? Shout out Haji. But I don't feel like with this specific squad, you needed a tactical manager like an Ancelotti, like an Alonso. The reason why Ancelotti did so well with Madrid for the longest time is not because of his tactics, it's his man management. And when you have a team that has that many egos, you need to man manage. And the thing is with Xabi Alonso, and I'm not saying he's not a good man manager, it's just his approach is obviously more tactical, and I don't feel like this team needs a tactician. You know what I mean? But It has been better, yes. Have they been wow? No, I think the only two bright spots for Madrid this season, obviously, is Mbappe, which we'll get onto soon, and Arda Güler. He's been very good. His link-up play with Mbappe has been very good. Valverde has been very bad this year so far.
So I did want to talk about that actually, but I do also want to shine a light on Vinny as well. I think Vinny has had a much better start to his season than he did last season, especially playing beside Mbappe.
Yeah, I believe he has. I believe he has 4 assists in the league so far. I think he might have 2 goals. I know he has. I know for a fact he has 2 goals because he scored that one Trivella in their last league game, right? Though against Levante, the 4-1. He scored that. He scored against Oviedo as well. So that's 2 right there. If I'm forgetting any other goals, but so far all I know is he has 2 goals and 4 assists.
He's playing for the team more.
Yeah.
You can definitely tell he's playing for the team more. It's not the Vinny that maybe we're used to seeing, but it is a Vinny that is still producing, which is really good for Real Madrid. But it's not the production that is their problem at the moment.
Is he producing 10 times more, though? He did promise us. And Vinny, you are Brazilian, a
10
God.
times more than last season.
That's what I'm saying. No. See, Vinny, is a God-fearing Christian brother from Brazil, and it's not good to lie, Vinny. So you said you were going to do 10 times more after you got snubbed for the Ballon d'Oro. And what have you done so far? You think I'm satisfied with 2 goals and 4 assists and playing for the team? Alleged superstar, by the way. Alleged Ballon d'Or winner. Alleged. They said his legacy would have surpassed Neymar with the Ballon d'Or. Do you know this? This is what I was hearing from Madrid fans. And then you guys wonder why you don't deserve good things. You pagans. All right, keep going. You dickheads. Keep going, Kenan.
The hate for Vinny. The hate for Vinny runs deep. Oh my God. All right. Anyway, so on to Valverde actually. So this was a quote he did, I guess, from an interview.
Yeah, he released a statement.
Or a statement where he says, I've read several articles damaging my reputation. I know I've had bad games. I'm aware of it. I'm not hiding it, and I face criticism head on. I'm truly sad. People can say so many things about me, but under no circumstances can they say that I refuse to play. I have given everything and more for this club. I played while fractured, injured, and have never complained or asked for a break. I have a good relationship with the coach, which makes me feel confident enough to tell him which positions I prefer on the pitch, but I always made it clear that I'm available to perform anywhere, on any trip, and in every game. I left my heart and soul in this club, and I'll continue to do so, even if sometimes it's not enough or I'm not playing as I'd like. I swear on my pride that I will never give up and will fight until the end, playing whenever I'm needed. Now, this is a very interesting statement from Valverde because obviously self-recognition is great. The other thing is that we all know that Valverde, aside from perhaps Mbappe last season, was their shining light. He was the bright light for Real Madrid. They're surely their best midfielder last season. And his versatility is something that a lot of people were talking about. Now, with the captain's armband, and under a new manager, he has failed to replicate those performances as of yet.
I don't think that's his fault, though. I'll tell you why. There's I personally think there's probably, I'd say, 2 reasons why he's had a drop in form. First of all, I think it's just general fatigue because one thing a lot of people, like maybe you don't pay attention because I know you don't watch the league as much as obviously I do. Valverde plays pretty much every game for Madrid, whether that's at midfielder, right back, whatever. He plays pretty much every game. On top of the fact that he also plays, with Uruguay and World Cup qualifiers. So all that fatigue of going to qualifiers and back, playing all these games for Madrid and whatever. I think he's definitely fatigued for sure. I think he is probably a bit tired. But also, I feel like he's not being played in his best position. Now, my thing about Valverde is the same thing I say about Bellingham, right? I don't believe you can have a functioning midfield with both of them there. And the thing is what I'm noticing with Alonso is what he was trying to do with Valverde while Bellingham was out. I feel like he was trying to put Valverde in this little midfield controller type role to push Arda Güler up further up towards kind of the number 10 and he kind of let the midfield be run by Valverde and Tchouaméni, which doesn't work because Valverde's best attributes to me are, first of all, his shooting, second of all, his engine. He runs a lot, so use him as a box crasher. Just use him as a guy who just presses other midfielders as a box crasher, gets into positions, makes runs, whatever. Don't use him as a midfield controller. Because, for example, the other day against Atletico Madrid, the guy tried to be all slick with and do a little Trivella pass to, I think, Tchouaméni. One of the worst passes I've ever seen. Then Atletico break through and score their 5th goal. That's the thing. So I feel like he's being misprofiled by Alonso so far. And I also just think he's tired. And I personally I think one of him or Bellingham is going to have to drop out that midfield because Güler can be dropped because he's been very good this year. And you don't drop Tchouaméni or Camavinga or whoever you put at DM, because those are the DMs, right? So you do like basically a diamond attack of, let's say, Vinny, Mbappe, and then you have like Bellingham behind them as like a 10 false 9, but then that means you'd have to drop Goulet a bit further back. And I just feel like their midfield dynamic doesn't work. And then these are the same dumbasses who will tell you that they don't need someone like Pedri or that Pedri's overrated, right? These same morons, I'm not going to say anything more. Anyways.
So actually, that's a fair point. But now that you also mentioned that obviously Carvajal and Trent are out.
Yeah.
So right back Valverde is probably the move going
please,
forward.
please put Asensio. I need to see Asensio as a right back. I mean, he's so shit as a center back. I feel just put him as a right back.
The next Sergio Ramos.
No, well, he can do the reverse Sergio Ramos. Because fun fact, I don't know if you know this, Sergio Ramos started off as a right back.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, and then he switched to center back. Yeah. So he can do the reverse Sergio Ramos, go from center back to right back. Right, he can do that.
Yeah.
So who knows?
Well, that's Valverde. Obviously, guys, every point of contention we talk about today, we would like to hear your opinions in the comment section.
Unless you're a Madrid fan, I don't want to hear your opinion. Anyways.
Let's move on to their best player so far this season by a country mile.
Kylian
Mbappe, who obviously going into this season, off a season that wasn't bad for him by any stretch of the imagination.
He definitely saved his best. Well, his best didn't win anything, but he definitely saved like his best for like 2025, because 2024, like his first like 4 months at Madrid, tragic. I mean, he ended up with Pichichi won the Pichichi in La Liga, scored 31 goals,
and the European
the Golden Boot, and
definitely he's. I think despite what he did last season in La Liga or whatever, I'm more keen on saying that Mbappe has arrived now. Because the reason why I say that is because genuinely, he's playing like the Mbappe we know him to be, right? The explosive ass player, the one who can get behind the defenders.
His finishing's been very good, yeah.
So like he's playing like the Mbappe that Real Madrid signed, right? Which for European, because I'm a Liverpool fan, obviously, so I look at it in the context of European football. For European football, it's scary. But for Barcelona, I want you maybe to tell us how do you feel about Mbappe's form, and also how do you think that Barcelona, for example, can counteract?
Well, here's the thing. So last year and toward the last two Clásicos specifically, right, that we played Madrid in, those were way closer because we played them 4 times. The first 2 ones were 4-0 and 5-2, so obviously it was a wash. The last 2 were 3-2, extra time in the Copa del Rey final, and 4-3 in the league. I went to that game. Shout out me. I went to that. And Mbappe, obviously, scored a hat-trick in the 4-3 and did score a free kick in the 3-2. And Madrid, towards the end of the season last year, were figuring us out a bit better. Obviously, the games were much tighter. But the only thing I'd say is I'm not really scared just because, one reason. First of all, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but Araujo's dealt with players like Mbappe before because he's dealt with Vinny for a lot of Clásicos. And the thing I do talk shit about Araujo, but Araujo does, for the most part, did do very well against Vinny in a lot of Clásicos. And, what's Vinny's, attributes? It's pace, whatever. Same thing with Mbappe. It's pace and dribbling, right? Obviously, Mbappe is better than Vinny, but I feel like, there can be a scheme worked out from that. Also, I just trust Flick. So I know Flick will have some sort of plan, but what I want to say about Mbappe, when it comes to this Madrid specifically, is I'm not worried as well just because, and some Madrid fans have started saying it too, which I find funny, by the way. They're saying that Mbappe's turned them into PSG, which what do they mean by that? Is the fact that, and this is the same thing I've been saying for a long time, I think Madrid are going to have a decision to make when it comes to their attack because keeping Vinny and Mbappe together is not, long term, it just won't work. It won't. The stats might look nice, they might have a few moments, whatever, but it won't work, okay? So they need to make a decision. Because for me, Mbappe, it's like last year. He scored all those goals. But I feel like his presence is actually a detriment to the team. Now, if it's say you have him and Vinny's not there, yeah, it could work. Or Vinny, but I don't think both of them can coexist in the same team together. So will they be better than last year? Yeah, sure. They might he might get more goals. They might look a bit better chemistry-wise, but the only way this works, really, is if Mbappe goes on the right wing, Vinny left wing, then they get a striker. That's the only way this can work, is having those two as, the focal points of your attack, the leading, option, as a striker with Mbappe, whatever. I don't think that's going to work. I just don't. So I think he started off very well. Obviously, if he keeps this form going with some trophies and stuff, he will definitely could win the Ballon d'Or, next year. But I don't see, because I just don't see. I think they're going to have the same issue PSG have for the longest time in really big games. Because, in the small games, he'll do well. I think in the big games, though, obviously it's a small sample size, but we've seen it so far. The PSG 4-0, I don't think he played that game, to be fair, but the PSG 4-0 and also the 5-2 Atletico, which he did play, with Vinny. So, I don't know.
No, I hear what you're saying, and I think for the longest time you've been of the mindset of sell Vinny, get yourself a real striker, put Mbappe off the left, Rodrigo off the right, and do your thing. Mm-hmm. Or what I think that Madrid might actually end up favoring is selling Rodrigo actually, and then seeing how they can make Mbappe and Vinny work. Regardless,
no, I don't think. You know what I think they could do. Maybe that could work. Put Bellingham as a striker again, like they did 2 years ago, because they had, him, Rodrigo, and Vinny. And on paper, Vinny, Mbappe, and Bellingham is better than that. So put Bellingham as a striker. Not as like the direct focal point striker, but as like a
false nine.
Like a false nine where he makes runs from midfield to strike or whatever. Do what he was doing 2 years ago. Either that or go get yourself like an actual striker. But the market right now for strikers, I don't think. Well, no one would want to join Madrid as a striker right now, just because, for example, if you're like a Haaland, why would you want to go to Madrid and play with, Mbappe? That's like the player you're always getting rivaled with, So I feel like competitively he wouldn't want to do that. Isak is obviously off the table. He's at Liverpool. Gyökeres obviously went to Arsenal. You have Julian Alvarez, but I don't think he'd go to Madrid for two reasons. One, he plays for Atletico Madrid. Two, he's a Barca fan. His agent says it. He says it. He's always made it clear he's a Barca fan. So I don't really see who they can get as a striker. And it's Madrid. They're not just going to go get a small striker. They're going to want an elite striker.
Yeah, or they could put the resources in developing that Garcia brother.
Yeah, but it's Madrid. They're not And one thing I want before we do end this video, one thing that I'm noticing is which I'm finding funny, because Ancelotti never said shit like this in press conferences. I'm hearing the term construction and process and learning curves and little shit words like that in Xabi Alonso's press conferences. Whereas with Ancelotti, was never that. It was strictly win, 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 win. There's no process. There's no we're building something. There's no the season there's none of that. But now the Madrid players are getting infected with the Arsenal virus. I'm noticing.
Yeah, trust the process, huh?
Yeah.
So Brahim, to conclude this video, no rage bait. Okay. What is a realistic outlook for Real Madrid for this season? As in we say trophy-wise. Let's go with trophy-wise.
Okay, I don't think they're gonna win Champions League. I don't think the team. No, that's not good enough. I just don't think
they're ready.
I don't think they're ready. I think the chemistry isn't there. I think there's a lot of stuff they need to iron out. So I think Champions League's out of the question. La Liga, the only reason maybe they could win it. Look, if Barca slip up a bit, they could, because La Liga right now, quality-wise, is the worst I've seen in a really long time. I feel like Madrid and Barca could both eclipse 85 to 90 points this year, take simultaneously, right? The quality right now in La Liga is not the best, so I don't see that they're gonna have many issues against La Liga teams, right? La Liga could. I still don't think they'll win it though. I think Barca are gonna win that. I think the only outlook Madrid have this year is maybe the Super Cup, because now the draw came out yesterday, so they're gonna play Atletico in the semifinals, and then Barca are playing Athletic Club, and then basically the same thing as last year, right? So maybe they could win that. Copa del Rey, I don't know, just because Madrid and Copa del Rey just don't go together. They never win that trophy. So I don't know. I feel like Madrid this year, I think if I'm going on the optimistic side, they could win 2 trophies. I think if I'm being realistic, they're going trophyless or they're winning 1. And that 1 trophy is either Copa del Rey or the Super Cup.
Yeah, Brahim, I actually tend to agree. I think right now La Liga is very much up for grabs. Because of like you said, it's very top heavy this season. And Atletico Madrid, although they
had a very bad start, but they got
a good result yesterday.
Well, they've been coming back. I think now they're 4 points behind Madrid, 5 points behind Barca. So they can catch up. They can catch up.
But like we said, very top heavy.
Yeah.
Teams are gonna play super low block against them. And the thing is, when you do play against low blocks like this,
and they don't have the players because the thing is that they don't have the midfielders, or I'd even say I think their system isn't set up to counter low blocks. Because if you look at Barca, for example, you obviously have Lamine Yamal, who just is on the wing. He attracts a lot of players, whatever. If Mbappe was doing that, then yeah, but Mbappe is in the middle, right? They need a player that can go on the wings, attract 2 or 3 dudes at the same time, and then the midfielders need to make runs and blah blah blah. Now Bellingham is back. That's the thing. Like that, the one player they need against low blocks, I'd say, is Bellingham. Because if you know it's Bellingham 2 years ago, a lot of the teams you scored against, all those last minute winners, all those things, were a lot of them were against low block teams. Why? Because bro, he's a box crasher. They need someone who can make runs into like the box and shit. And that's what Bellingham does. So with Bellingham back, they might have an easier time.
Yeah, plus Bellingham post-surgery, so maybe because like a lot of Madrid fans were like, "Oh, his shoulder." Well, maybe now it's better. You never know.
He bulked up a lot as well. If you look at pictures from like 2 years ago, now he got a decent amount heavier.
Yeah. So prediction going out, I think Madrid go 1 trophy this season. I have a hard time seeing them go trophyless. 1 trophy, but guys, again, we throw the question to you. What do you think Madrid will accomplish this season? Is it a new Madrid side? Yes or no? And also everything and every player that we discussed in this video, we want to hear your opinions in the comments. Guys, like, comment, and subscribe. All of you people subscribing, you guys have been absolutely phenomenal. We hit 500 just a few days ago, and now we're over 530. Probably going to hit 540 soon, and that's all thanks to you guys. We really do appreciate it. Like, comment, subscribe. Basement Ballers on virtually every platform. Check it out. His face, my face. You'll always see it. You'll always feel it. Pause. And then we got the Discord link as always, the Ballers Academy. Almost 180 of y'all now in there. Thank you guys all also for the giveaway that we did for FC26. That was a success. But that was all done on the Discord. So if you want to be involved in future giveaways and also just an amazing group of people discussing football, go click that link, join the Ballers Academy. Without further ado, guys, appreciate you. Peace out.